The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Peter turned and saw the disciple following whom Jesus loved, the one who had also reclined upon his chest during the supper, and had said, "Master, who is the one who will betray you?" When Peter saw him, he said to Jesus, "Lord, what about him?" Jesus said to him, "What if I want him to remain until I come? What concern is it of yours? You follow me." So the word spread among the brothers that that disciple would not die. But Jesus had not told him that he would not die. Just, what if I want him to remain until I come? What concern is it of yours? It is this disciple who testifies to these things and has written them, and we know that his testimony is true. There are also many other things that Jesus did, but if these were to be described individually, I do not think the whole world would contain the books that would be written. Brothers and sisters, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. One of the movies that I watched nakaraang taon is yung Jurassic World. And yung Jurassic World na yon, may part doon that I was really struck by the words of the words of one of the characters. Ang sabi niya, the biggest deceit or the biggest lie that people are facing now is that we think that we are in control. The biggest lie or the biggest deceit that people are facing now is that we think that we are always in control. I was struck by those words because I think these words or those words are very much true. You know, in our society today, all of us are clamoring for control. Kaya nga atat na atat tayo sa mga plano-plano. Kasi gusto nating i-control ang mga bagay-bagay. Pagdating sa finances, meron na tayong nakaplano sa bagay na yan. Pagdating sa business, meron na tayong nakaplano sa bagay na yan. Pagdating sa pagpapatakbo ng isang kumpanya, meron tayong nakaplano sa ganyan. Because we will always want to be in control. And why is that? Because it makes us feel that we are powerful. And that is something, very good to feel. Na meron kang kapangyarihan na mag-control. At one point, maganda. Kasi namamanage yung mga bagay-bagay. But then, kapag sumusobra tayo na maisip na ganon, tsaka napapasok yung deceit or yung lie or yung fake news na yon, na maiisip natin, lahat pwede nating i-control. That at some point, we would even want to control people, others, na para bagang ginagawa nating robot ang ating kapwa-tao. Gawin mo yan, gawin mo to, gawin mo yung sinasabi ko. Wala ka na ibang gagawin. Sometimes even we do this to people whom we love. Anak, dapat ikaw maging doktor paglaki mo. Yun lang dapat. Nay, gusto ko pong magpare. Ay, hindi anak. Hindi ka pwede magpare. Wala kang kinabukasan dyan. Hindi magiging maganda buhay mo dyan. Mag-abogado ka na lang. Yun yung maganda para sa'yo. Sometimes umaabot tayo sa ganon. And what is its effect? What is its effect? Sadness. Sadness to people. Bakit? It does not just remove people of freedom. No. It just does not, bar them from feeling free, but it also makes them feel unloved. Unloved. Bakit? Because that certain experience of freedom is actually an expression of love. Kaya nga, di ba, sinasabi natin, may mga maririnig tayo mga salita o mga kantang ganyan, dahil mahal kita, papalayain kita, magpapaubaya ako. Because if you want to really show that you love a person, freedom should always be there. Kapag mahal mo yung tao, hindi pwedeng kinokontrol mo yung tao. If you are controlling a person more than giving him freedom, may question sa pagmamahal. Bakit ko sinasabi ang mga bagay na ito? Because I think, my dear brothers and sisters, this is something that is very much related to our gospel today. To our gospel today. We hear in our gospel Peter talking to Jesus. And what was the concern of Peter? His concern was control. And that is why he was asking Jesus, what are you going to do with the other disciple, John? Ano yung gagawin mo sa kanya? Kasi narinig na niya kung ano yung gagawin ni Jesus sa kanya, ano yung plano ni Jesus sa kanya. You know, this gospel today is the gospel that follows yung kahapon, yung conversation ni Jesus with Peter when Jesus was asking him, Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord. And Jesus said, tend my sheep. Tend my sheep. Yun yung role niya. Narinig niya sa ating Panginoong Jesucristo yon. And now his concern was, what about him? What about him? What about the other person? Which, my dear brothers and sisters, Peter missed out what Jesus was really, conveying to him. That this is not about control. This is not about management. My presence here is not about, dominion. Rather, it is about an embracing love. Kaya nga ang conversation na to, yung prelude, yung conversation before this, was the question about love. Because this whole discourse of Peter and Jesus was really about love. The love of Jesus for his disciples and eventually to all of us. That shows all of us, my dear brothers and sisters, that his love for us is not something that controls us. Actually gives us freedom. And that is why in our church, anybody is welcome. Anybody. Hindi natin sinasabing, oy, mga pari at mga madre lang dapat pumasok sa simbahan, ha? Yung mga pari at madre lang maliligtas. Hindi sinasabing ganun. Everyone is welcome. Ang lungkot naman siguro ng simbahan natin kung kinontrol na ganun, ano? Mga pari at madre lang lahat. Everybody is welcome. Pwedeng nandyan yung doktor. Pwedeng nandyan yung teacher. Pwedeng yung nandyan yung nagtitinda sa labas. Anybody could come. Pwedeng nandyan yung politician. Because that is the love of God for us. An embracing love. A love that gives freedom to people. Freedom to be who we are. Freedom to fulfill our aspirations, our our admirations and goals in life. Jesus is in full support of that. Kaya nga kung binigay niya kay Peter ang maging puno ng ating simbahan, ang head ng ating simbahan, iba naman role ang binigay niya kay John. John wanted to write the Gospel of John. And that was his role. That was his contribution. Yun ang punto ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo. It is not about control. His love is not about control. It is about an embracing love, not a dominating love, an embracing love. And so what should be the response to that? What should be the response dun sa pagmamahal na yun ng ating Panginoong Diyos? Sabi niya kay Peter, "What if I want him to remain until I come? What concern is it of yours?" Then these words came from Jesus. "You follow me. You follow me." Ibig sabihin, ang response natin dun sa klaseng pagmamahal, that embracing love of Jesus is obedience. You follow me. Father, hindi ba magkasulungat yung bagay na yon? Freedom tapos obedience? Parang magkaiba yata yung dalawang yun. Parang hindi magkakasundo yung bagay na yon. You know, in our philosophy class, we have always defined freedom, obedience to the perfection as the perfection of freedom. Obedience is the perfection of freedom. Why is that? Because freedom, the goal of freedom, the aim of freedom is the good of a person. The good of a person. And if we obey, especially God, whom He is the most good, then that is true freedom. Kasi makakamit natin yung totoong makakabuti sa atin. Yung tunay na makakabuti sa atin. Because that is the aim of freedom. Kaya nga, no, kapag ka na-misuse yung freedom, ano nangyayari? E di nakukulong. Iniisip, this is my freedom to kill another person. O, saan napupunta? Because that is not the right way in using freedom. Freedom should always be something that would lead us to our good, to the true good. At ano yung instrument doon? Obedience. That is why you follow me. Kung titignan natin siya sa ibang aspeto, kapag pinag-usapan natin yung good, pwede din siyang i-relate natin sa happiness. Happiness. And sabi ni St. Thomas Aquinas, happiness is the fulfillment of nature. Happiness is the fulfillment of nature. Ibig sabihin, kung gusto nating masaya, sundin natin kung sino talaga tayo. Gawin natin kung ano talaga yung dapat nating gawin. Di ba? May sense ng obedience. At kapag ka nangyari talaga sa buhay natin yon, tunay na tayo ay magiging masaya. Kaya nga, kung kino-consider natin ang ating mga sarili na mga anak ng Diyos, then fulfill that nature. Fulfill that nature. Be a true son and daughter of God. Then you will be happy. You will be happy. Because that is the fruit of the love of God. Joy. Joy. Happiness. Kaya nga kung nakakabahagi tayo ng pagmamahal sa ibang tao, isa lang ang nararamdaman nila sa atin. Masaya sila sa atin. They are joyful because of the love that they feel from us. a love that comes from God. A love that is freeing, not dominating. Kaya mga kapatid, sa araw na ito, yun ang magandang itanong natin sa ating mga sarili. Ano ba yung mga bagay-bagay na gusto kong i-control at kinokontrol ko ngayon? Na dahil sa pagkokontrol na ito, nagiging desperate ako at nagiging malungkot ang buhay ko. Nagiging lagi na lang akong disappointed. Because I forget that there is this plan of God for me. And what is that plan? Ano yung plano na yon? That would be an instrument for me to obey and to follow Him so that I may fulfill my true nature and experience the true joy of God. Ano kaya yon para sa atin?